Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Explode Your Expert Business Show. Today we are here at a special episode on the series because of GTeX, and we have the one and only Siawash Zahmat. How you doing, Siawash?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm great.
It's good.
Thank you for having me here.
That's my pleasure. It's good to have you on the show. I mean, you should have come a while ago. You're right. Like we should have arranged this a while ago. So this has been completely my fault. But you built an incredible company, the Muslim Coaching Academy. And what we are going to explore is how you change today in this interview, how you change your attitude to make this company work. So tell us a bit more about what you do, what you're involved with, so we can set the scene.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean, I started as a life coach, and build my own business, and yeah, like once I started, I've been always really passionate about business, so it was just a natural evolution for me to start working with people around business. So we really we help Muslim coaches grow their business. So we have different programs from people that are just starting out to getting them to six figures, and we're actually launching a program that helps people, scale up from six figures to multiple six figures.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, for me, it's just really about helping coaches, and a lot of the stuff we do like translates to other service providers, but it's
Yeah.
just really powerful helping them get good at coaching. They're good at coaching. We help them really get good at the business part. Yeah, and I think when those two things come together, that's where you get magical results.
I'm totally with you. It makes such a huge difference because then your ripple effect. I mean, you change their life, and they change other people's life, and other people's life change the world. And so there is just a massive ripple effect that creates from there. You've been a GTeX member for quite a few years. I still remember when you joined. But what made you join GTeX in the first place?
Yeah, I remember that as well. So, I finished with my first coach. I think I've been coaching at around that time, around 3-4 months. So this is around 3.5 years ago, I think.
Yeah.
And for me, like, finding you guys, I think was a huge moment because, I was okay at coaching and I could sell a little bit. I knew how to do that, but I knew there's so many pieces missing, right? And what really helped me in terms of GTeX is, when I saw your program, I'm like, yeah, this is exactly what I need. It's not someone that's just gonna help me in one area. It's like you guys kind of had the whole puzzle together, and for me that was a breakthrough moment. It's like, hey, you know what? I got someone that can actually help me understand business and then grow my business.
Yeah.
So for me, yeah, that was really big. Not just, I know sometimes you talk about like almost being like a one-stop shop, and I think that's really powerful because anything I needed to learn around business skills, from marketing to selling to actually creating programs, I got it all there.
I appreciate it, and I mean you had quite an unusual journey within GTeX because you started you started as a lifetime member. Then
Mm.
I remember when we were looking for a salesperson to come and work with GTeX,
Mm.
and we interviewed a bunch of people, and you stood out. So then you worked with us for I think it was a couple of years. And
Yeah.
then moving from just doing the sales part and also taking care of our coaching client. And I remember that the clients that were working with you, they kept renewing over and over again. They were
Yeah.
all incredibly happy. Uh, and you were the very first person. You were our very first salesperson that we hired. You were our very first coach that we hired.
Mm.
And now that we have solidified the process with the coaching certification and the other people that we have certified. You were what you did was the very first prototype of what GTeX is. So I just incredibly grateful
Mm.
about what you did with us. Then you arrived to the point it was like, okay, guys, my business is too big right now. And it was great because then you made the decision to focus entirely on your business.
Yeah.
So while working together, what was the biggest thing that you got out from either like working as a part of the team or working as a client with us?
Yeah, sure. And actually just that's a good point you made, right? I want to, point that out that I joined the team because, there's a lot of stuff going in my personal life. My wife was pregnant and that affected my business,
Mm.
right? I knew how to build a business because the support you guys gave really helped me with that. But at that point, there's so much going on. So I said, hey, let's be part of a team where I don't need to do a lot of marketing and sales,
Yeah.
right? But actually, even though that was not something that I set out to do, then one initially work for anyone else. I think that was a big blessing, right? Being part of a member has been, really super useful, but actually seeing things from the inside also really helped me see, how to be a professional,
Mm.
and you see that a little bit from, you learn that from being a member. You can ask questions about how to run a business, but when you see it from the inside, I think, and that's when you actually see the real work happen, right? Because often we see, who wins the championships,
Yeah.
but you don't see what's happening, in the locker room, or you don't see what's happening in the practice, right?
Yeah.
From the day-to-day practice. So that was really big for me. So in terms of that, right, like we learned the theory part and the practical part in the different events, in the different programs that you have. But it's just so powerful to actually see how you were putting that into practice,
Mm.
and that leadership. And that's for me a big thing, like people can say a lot, but when you watch their behavior, that speaks much more louder,
Yeah.
right? So that level of professionalism, the attitude, that was really profound, because I came into this as like a passion project. And I think it's cool to be passionate about something, but until you really get good at it and put, work in mastering that craft, right, you don't really get the results that you want,
Yeah.
right? You can get, maybe one or two good months, but to create a real sustainable business, I think, is that attitude that you bring to the game.
Yeah.
And we were speaking about this just before we got turned on the recording, right? You play basketball at a high level,
Mm-hmm.
and I look at a lot of sports people like Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, and they brought that attitude to the game,
Yeah.
right? Because it wasn't so much just their talent. While most people were practicing 4 hours, Kobe Bryant was practicing 8 hours a day,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I've taken that attitude to my business, and it's just transformed everything. So I know that whenever there's someone that earns more than me, I can outwork them. And
Yeah.
I think it's not just work ethic, but of course learning, becoming actually good at marketing, becoming good at sales. That was super useful. Obviously, like all the different events that you did on the different topics, where you just really, we came together for 2 days or 3 days. We went really deep into sales. Then we talked about marketing, launching the products. So it just helped me actually become good at it, not just understand that, well, like here's copy this and put this into practice.
Yeah.
But those intensive weekends, that immersion, that for me was just also very powerful.
Well, thank you for sharing. And I have to say that there was something already new that had that work ethic,
Mm.
because I remember, like, at the beginning, when particularly when we started working together as a team member, and I hope you don't mind me sharing, but it was a bit rocky,
It was very
because
rocky.
it was very rocky. Because, like,
Mm.
oh damn, I was like, the sales are not coming in. Like, I got all these calls, and there was something that like either way you were showing up or something that weren't converting. But it
Mm.
was one thing that you had, which you had the attitude of always asking, okay, how can I do this? Can you review this? How can I show up in a different way? That got you to the point where whenever we had a really good client, and we gave you all some of the best clients to work with, because we knew that you could not only convert them, potential clients, into clients, but also serve them at a really high level. And I
Mm.
wanted to say this because I want people to understand that it's a journey. It's not that you came out of the blue and with all these incredible skills and gifts. Oh my God, it's like you had to work really, really hard just
Mm.
to not only, because I've seen your business journey, not only to start your business, but also within GTeX. And
Yeah.
that work ethic that you bring to the table, as you mentioned, is what makes you stand out from a lot of other people. So I want to understand now, uh, how did you apply that to your business? How did you apply
Mm.
that to the Muslim Coaching Academy, and uh, that things that maybe you're doing even right now that make it work?
Yeah, sure. Well, I've applied that, in a very practical way. Look, for me, I think when I started with you guys, and even in my coaching journey, I was probably like a 1 out of 10 in sales, right?
Yeah.
And you know, maybe
Yeah.
maybe even like a minus. Not even.
No,
I
no,
would.
no.
I
I'll give
wouldn't
you
even.
one. I'll give
I
you
would.
one.
I wouldn't even close 1 out of 10. Right? I think there's some people that were probably ready to pay, and I'll just take their details. But I think that, right, it's really what you guys help me see is that, you know what, like if you put the work in, you just get a bit better. And right now, I can comfortably say this, like I can close clients at any level.
Yeah.
Where there's, I close a deal at 250K, one-on-one clients at 50K. And it's not so much about the big number, but because of the work that I've put in, working on those skills, and I've seen that with yourself, is where you didn't just see like, well, hey, you know, it's all about getting in front of the right people. You never had that attitude. It was more about like, well, this is what we want to do. Let's look at the process. Let's get good at it. And I love that because it really reminds me of sports, right? We just rewatch, replay, and see what can we improve there. So if I've applied this into my business, and I do this with the clients that I work with, the coaches that I work with, and we just help them get good at the work. Because when you get good at the process, you can create any result you want, right? So yeah, that's really transformed our business. We just got really good at the process, and the results are following.
Yeah, and I remember that reminds me. I don't know if you watch it. I mean, you're mentioning Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant. I don't know. There was an interview of Kobe Bryant that said the purpose of a basketball player is not the ring, in this case, the NBA championship, but it's not to win the ring, but it's to win every single workout.
Yeah.
And that's a mantra for me, and that's something that you took on board incredibly well. And but I think that sometimes now, how did your natural attitude contribute as well to your success? Because of course you can take you've learned this stuff from us, you've seen the way
Yeah.
we work, but then you already had something in you. So how did that play a part in what you've built?
Hmm. Well, I think, I looked at some things. Like I looked at my, the jobs that I've worked with.
Hmm.
I've worked 10-hour shifts, I've worked 12-hour shifts. And I just really thought, well, why don't I put that in here into my business, right? Because often with business, we treat it in a different way just because it's a business.
Hmm.
So that's number one, is just really putting the work in. Number two, that, and it's, for me, like I love learning. I think one of my biggest things is learning,
Yeah.
but it's actually combining that learning with practice. So once I created like a field for myself to practice in, that learning actually became really useful. So it wasn't just like knowledge, but it was knowledge that was applied. So for me, like that's something that's ongoing. You know, I'm constantly upping my game when it comes to, sales, marketing, really getting better at that, but also when it comes to coaching, right? Getting really good at what I do. And this is the funny thing. Like we have a very specific niche, but we have all the time people knocking on our doors and saying, hey, I'm not Muslim. Can you work with me, right? So, and then this is the thing that I want, any coach or any expert to really get away from this, is that if you become so good that they can't ignore you, people
Yeah.
will, they will just find a way to hire you. It doesn't matter what your price tag is. I've, increased my prices because the demand in the work has grown crazy,
Yeah.
right? And it's not just because of the ego, but I also, part of that was also just actually being bold, right? So, that I was a professional poker player,
Yeah.
right? 10, 12 years ago. And I know I love taking risks. So for me, it was being bold as well, like just making up a number, charging double of what I was charging before, and then getting a yes within 10 seconds and knowing that, okay, cool, it works.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, just that's part of it. I think is naturally I can put the work in, but I need to be able to see, okay, well, can I succeed in this? And the moment I can see it, then it becomes fun.
And there is something you said that I think is a big takeaway for everyone, which is regarding the increase of price. A lot
Yeah.
of people, they think that, the price, I'm sure that is one of the question that your clients ask you the most: how much shall I charge?
Yeah.
How much? And at the end of the day, you increase your price when your demand increases. increases. There are people that
Mm.
they go immediately and say, I'm going to charge 10,000, and they never had a client before. They paid
Yeah.
them even £5. And so I'm like, get someone to pay you maybe 1,000 first, and then see if you can make that work, and then
Yeah.
grow. And then, so it is important to see where are you at, and you will find it naturally when you, as you said, you become so good that people can't ignore you. Then you will have, you stay on your lane, you stick with your niche, you become really good in your niche, and then you have
Mm.
other people that are going to knock at your door consistently for other things that you're doing, and then it's your call. Do you want to take it or you don't? But at least you have a very solid foundation.
Yeah.
So what are some of the things, if someone wants to reach out to you, or some of the things that you're working on at the moment that someone can get from you?
Yeah, sure. I mean, yeah, people can reach out on Facebook. I'm quite easy to find on Facebook. I'm not super active because we have so many clients we're working with, and we always prioritize clients. Um, but yeah, and anyone that wants to just be bold, like, look, the game I like to play is not, I mean, we have programs for different coaches at different levels, but the game I personally like to play is a different game. We talked a little bit about the likes of Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan,
Mm-hmm.
and this is it. Like, the game I like to play is with people that don't want to be average, but want to really create something that's completely different.
Yeah.
You know, if someone wants to create a business with 100 clients, that's cool. But it's, for me, like, the game I like to play is, small group of high-end clients, with high fees. And I think that's been really fun for me. And it just, again, it's not so much about, the income, but it's the impact that's created in the lives of those people.
Mm-hmm.
And, having a high level of freedom that comes with that, with that kind of business.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if someone wants to play in that way, just wants to go to the next level, they can always reach out. But yeah, they're gonna be good. Like, I'm so grateful for everything you guys have given us. And anyone that's listening to this, an expert coach, like, with your programs, there's like a wealth of knowledge, a wealth of experience there to play with as well. Yeah.
I appreciate it. So yeah, make sure you reach out to Siawash on social media. Follow him. There are going to be the social media details and the contacts here in the show notes or in the comments, depending on where you're watching or listening to this. So make sure you reach out to him. Now it's time to wrap up. We're wrapping up with
Mhm.
the final question, which is for you, Siawash, to complete the sentence, because of GTeX. Over to you.
Cool. Yeah, because of GTeX, I turned pro. Very simple, and I think it changed everything. As an amateur, you love the game, but as a pro, that's where the real game starts.
All right, thanks, man. So if you want to reach out and you say, actually, let's work together, you're inspired by hearing see our story, there's going to be a link as well to book a call and see how we can work together. How can we support you in your business? So until next time, Siawash, thank you very much for being here on the show. It is a pleasure, and you're going to be back again. We're going to go deeper in some of the findings that you've done in your business. So until next time, thank
Oh
you.
man, take care.
And thank everyone who has been watching or listening. I'm looking forward to seeing you next time and working together, because together we grow exponentially. Ciao.